For their anniversary dinner, Samantha made Mark's favorite steak, medium rare, just how he likes it. Their daughter Emily was doing homework in the living room while cartoons played on TV. Samantha glanced at her phone, a company notification. Patent Athena had been filed. Inventor, Mark Carter. Her blood went cold. This was 3 years of her life, 70% of the code, the entire mathematical framework for an explainable deep learning model that could actually tell you why it made a decision. Her name wasn't on it. Not anywhere.
Mark walked through the door holding a bouquet of red roses.
The board meeting ran late. Sorry. What's wrong? You look terrible.
Nothing. Just hungry.
Samantha forced a smile and got up to reheat the steak. The second she turned toward the kitchen, Mark opened his laptop at the dining table. A document flashed across the screen. Samantha caught the title in her peripheral right, Resignation Proposal. Her hand paused on the steak knife. She didn't turn around. She plated the steak, carried it over, and sat across from him. Mark went on and on about how much the board valued him, how CEO Howard was retiring.
Who do you think it'll be?
You hope it's you.
Mark smiled and reached for her hand.
You always get me.
After dinner, Mark went to his study. While Samantha cleared the table, she noticed his laptop was still on. The screen was locked, but she saw a folded icon on the desktop, Project Voyage. She filed that name away. That night, after Mark was sound asleep, Samantha got up and went to the study.
3 tries on the password. Her daughter's birthday, no. Their anniversary, no. She hesitated, then typed in Chloe's birthday. How did she know that? She had no idea. But it worked. A full plan appeared on screen. File for divorce after Q4 earnings, dilute her stock options, take the Athena patent, and jump ship to their competitor Benjamin's company. There was also a draft email attached. Dear Samantha, I don't love you anymore. Scheduled to send in 3 months. Samantha's hands were shaking. She opened the drawer and found a ring box. Not her wedding ring, a new one. Inside was a note. For Chloe, when I'm free. She closed the drawer, logged out of the computer, and wiped the access log.
Back in the bedroom, Mark rolled over and dropped his arm across her waist. She lay completely still, eyes wide open until dawn. Her phone lit up, an anonymous email with a single line. Samantha replied, "Who is this?" 3 seconds later, "Someone who was once in your shoes."
Mark rolled over again in his sleep and mumbled something. Samantha looked at his face. In the darkness, he looked peaceful, almost innocent. She didn't know.
She thought about the look on his face at dinner when he held her hand and said, "You always get me," or a 15-year performance.
All she knew was that starting tomorrow, she was going to find out. At 6 in the morning, Samantha got up and made breakfast just like any other day. Waffles, scrambled eggs, a fruit platter.
Mom, can you pick me up today? Dad's always late.
I'll be on time today, I promise.
Emily rolled her eyes. Samantha said nothing. She glanced at Mark's hand. He was still wearing the wedding ring she'd picked out. The new ring from last night, the one engraved with Chloe's name, was sitting in his studio drawer. After dropping off Emily, they drove to the office together.
See you tonight at the usual place.
Samantha pretended to look out the window. She knew exactly where the usual place was, the business hotel near the office, where Chloe was staying.
A client asked me to dinner.
Okay. At the office, she walked into her office and closed the door. She didn't turn on the lights. She stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the parking lot. Mark's car was still parked next to the CEO's reserved spot. He always acted like he was already CEO.
She thought about the files she'd seen on his computer late last night, every word of that divorce plan.
Suddenly, she felt sick. Elena came in with coffee. 2 pumps of vanilla syrup, her usual. Elena, I need you to pull all of Mark's host hotel expenses from the past 6 months. Don't use the company system. Use the audit platform connected to my personal credit card. Elena hears that wasn't anger. It was cold, calculated precision. She didn't ask why. Marriott 17 times. Every Wednesday, 2 to 4 p.m. Registered under Mark Carter and client. What's the client's name? Chloe Davis.
I have a client meeting. Can you pick up Emily?
Mark said he had a client meeting and asked her to pick up Emily. She picked up Emily and took her for ice cream.
Dad's been really busy lately.
Yeah, he is. She picked up the coffee, took a sip, and set it down. Set up a meeting with Juliet for me, today at 5. Juliet? The divorce attorney? Mark's college roommate, but also someone I trust. And send Leah in. After Delina left, Samantha sat alone in her office. She picked up her phone, scrolled to Mark's /send. What do you want for bring something? She stared at that text and suddenly the tears came. She cried for about 30 seconds, then wiped her face hard, opened her contacts, and dialed Juliet's number. Boss, you wanted to see me? The version history for Athena's code. Did you back it up? Did it last night. It's on my personal NAS, encrypted with your fingerprint. Starting today, whatever Mark tells you to do, you do it. Whatever he says, you agree. If he says Athena's code needs changes, make the changes he wants, but log every single edit, who made it, when, and what they changed. Boss, is Mark? Don't ask. Just do it.
At 5 o'clock, Samantha walked into Juliet's office right on time. Juliet had already made tea. She took one look at Samantha's face and without a word slid a document across the table.
This is your prenup with Mark. I've reviewed it. If you file for divorce, you walk away with almost nothing. If you're at fault, you could lose custody of Emily entirely. Does cheating count as fault? Yes. Do you have evidence? Not yet. But I will. By the time Samantha got back to the office, it was 7 p.m. The parking lot was empty. Mark's car was parked next to hers. She was about to open her door when she heard footsteps. She ducked behind a pillar. Mark and Chloe stepped out of the elevator. Chloe was wearing a red dress, and Mark's hand was on her waist. You're sure she won't find out?
She won't. She can barely leave the house. She's been depressed for 5 years, you know that. And even if she did find out, what's she gonna do? A woman who can't even handle basic social situations, what's she got to fight me with?
So Athena's patent, you're really taking her name off it?
Already done. She's the COO, not an inventor. It's legally airtight.
Then I'll wait for you. In 3 months, I want to be wearing that ring.
Samantha stood behind the pillar, her nails digging into her palms. She watched Mark's car pull out of the lot, its taillights disappearing into the night. She got into her car and sat there without starting the engine. Chloe sat in Mark's car, watching the streetlights blur past the window. Mark was driving, one hand on the wheel, the other on her leg. She looked down at that hand. There was an indentation on his ring finger, left by Samantha's wedding band. Mark wore it during the day and took it off at night.
Are you really going to divorce her?
Of course.
When?
I told you. 3 months.
Chloe didn't ask again. She turned to look out the window, and the smile slowly faded from her face. She touched her own ring front. Empty.
Will he really do it?
When Samantha got home, Mark was already in the living room. He'd changed into lounge clothes and was holding a glass of whiskey.
Where'd you go? I called, you didn't pick up.
I went to see Mom. She's not feeling well.
Samantha changed out of her heels, her voice as calm as if she were commenting on the weather.
What's wrong with Vera?
Same old thing. High blood pressure. Hey, I saw Athena's patent was filed. Why is your name the only one on it?
Mark froze for a moment. The whiskey glass stopped halfway to his lips.
Legal made a mistake. I'm having them fix it. Of course your name will be on it. This is our baby.
Our baby?
Samantha turned around and looked at him.
Of course ours. Without you, Athena is nothing. Sam, you know I can't live without you. His eyes held love, tenderness, 15 years of marital habit.
But today, Samantha had heard another voice from behind that pillar, a voice that sounded much more real.
What's wrong? You look terrible.
I know. The next morning, Samantha did something Mark would never see coming. She walked into Howard's office. Howard was the CEO, 60 years old, 3 months away from retirement. He was reviewing financial reports when he looked up and saw Samantha. He took off his glasses.
Samantha, you rarely come by without an appointment.
Because what I have to say can't go in an email. Mark is stealing Athena's patent. He took my name off it and he's planning to take the patent jump to Benjamin's company in 3 months. At the same time, he's going to file for divorce after Q4 earnings, dilute my stock options, and leave me with nothing.
Do you have proof?
Code version history, patent filing logs, screenshots of the plan from his study, 17 hotel check-ins at the Marriott. I can give you all of it. But first, I have a question for you.
Ask.
When you retire, who's your pick for CEO?
You. It's always been you. But some board members disagree. They say your depression is a liability.
I've been depression-free for 6 months. My doctor can confirm.
If I can get enough evidence to prove corporate fraud and conflict of interest, I can bypass the board and remove him as CTO. But you need to give me a complete chain of evidence.
That's part of it. I'll get you the rest within 3 months.
Samantha, do you understand what this means? You won't just lose a husband, you'll destroy him.
He already destroyed us. I'm just cleaning up the mess. She ran into Chloe in the hallway as she left Howard's office. Good morning, Samantha. I love that lipstick color on you. Thanks. Samantha smiled back and kept walking. Chloe took 2 steps, stopped, and turned to watch the elevator doors close. Her smile disappeared, and her brow frowned. She'd noticed that the lipstick Samantha was wearing was the deep red Mark had once said he hated most. Is she sending a message? Samantha stepped into the elevator, and the doors closed. The mirror in the elevator reflected her face. The smile was still there, but her eyes were cold. She thought about the last line of that anonymous email from last night, someone who was once in your shoes. Who was that? Chloe? No. Mark's ex-wife? Mark didn't have an ex-wife? Or another woman in the company that Mark had hurt? The elevator reached her floor. The doors opened. Do me a favor, pull every patent application Mark has handled in the past 5 years, make a list of everyone whose name was taken off. Are you saying it's not just you? I don't know. But we're about to find out. Over the next month, Samantha launched her mentoring plan. Every morning, she came in an hour early, organized the day's work into a detailed memo, and left it on Mark's desk. The memo's subject line read, the tone was sickeningly sweet, identical to the lovey-dovey caption she posted on social media.
Mark didn't think much of it at first.
Sam, you don't need to teach me your job. I'm the CTO, not the COO.
But you want to be CEO. A CEO needs to understand every department. I want you to succeed.
Mark was touched by that.
You're so good to me.
What Samantha didn't tell him was that every memo had a trap built into it. She broke down the COO's core responsibilities, client relationship management, supply chain negotiations, board present skills, and them into tasks that looked simple and embarked a massive digital trail while learning them. Those records would prove that during Samantha's mentoring, Mark had accessed and taped trade secrets were outside his authority. Meanwhile, Leah was sending her the Athena code change logs every single day. Mark's assistant, the same one who'd helped him alter the patent filing logs, made smalts to the PERT scholar base. Leah said in their encrypted chat every week, each one paired Athena to a Benjamin Bergman's company just made public. Core framework is 40% similar. Keep logging. Don't tip him off. On the 32nd night, Samantha was cleaning out old things in the study. She pulled a postcard from a dusty algorithms textbook. The postcard showed a photo of Big A in London. On the back, a line was written in Chinese. The postmark was from 8 years ago. She folds. Heejin Zhou, her senior from graduate school in Europe, a fellow student from the Chinese Academy of Sciences exchange program.
Your hands are so steady, you'd be great at restoring antiques.
My hands are steady for writing code. Later, she'd gone back to America, married Mark, and never reached out again. She didn't even remember receiving this postcard. She flipped to the front and noticed the clock hands on Big Ben pointed to 3 o'clock. She found another line on the back, written small, I'm deed come. Samantha set the postcard on the desk and stared at it for a long time. She didn't reply. She didn't even know if that address was still valid. But she tucked the postcard back into the book and didn't throw it away. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Samantha stared at the text. That person again. The one who'd been in her shoes. She replied, Who are you? The person sent a photo, a scan of an old contract, dated 8 years ago. There was a name on the contract, Elena Vasquez. Samantha's hand went stitted. Elena? Her assistant? She shot up and pushed open the study door. Elena was sitting on the living room couch, organizing her schedule for the coming week. Elena. Yeah? What happened between you and Mark 8 years ago? That anonymous email, it was me. Talk. 8 years ago, I was Mark's assistant. You had just had Emily and were on maternity leave. Mark asked me to help him prepare a patent application. You were the inventor. But that time he took your name off right before filing. I didn't think much of it at the time, figured it was a clerical error. And then? Then the same error happened 7 more times. I asked him about it. He said it was legal's fault. I didn't believe him, so I checked the system logs myself. Every single time he'd made the change personally. I went to confront him with the proof. He transferred me out of the CTO's office on the spot, exiled me to AdMem, and threatened to make sure I'd never work in this industry again if I told anyone. So you didn't say anything. I wanted to, but I was scared. I'd just taken out a mortgage that year. I needed this job. Samantha, I regret it every single day. I watched you being kept in the dark. I watched you trust him completely. I felt like a coward. Last Christmas party, when I saw him and Chloe on the balcony, I thought, right now, I can't keep quiet anymore. That anonymous email said someone who was once in your shoes, he hurt you too? Not just hurt. 3 months after he transferred me, he found an excuse to fire me. Everything I'd done at this company, he erased it all. Then you hired me back as your assistant, and you didn't even know who I was. She remembered 7 years ago when she'd just returned from maternity leave. HR had sent over a stack of resumes and said she needed an assistant. She'd flipped through them casually, saw one that said familiar with patent processes, and picked that person. She hadn't known this person had been run out by her own choice would become the first piece of a revenge puzzle 7 years later. Elena, do you regret not exposing him 7 years ago? Every single day. Then starting now, you don't have to anymore. We do this together. On the third day of the second month, Samantha did something even bolder. She set up a meeting with Benjamin, the CEO of the rival company Mark was planning to jump to, at a tea house downtown. Benjamin arrived right on time, accompanied by an assistant.
He was visibly thrown off when he saw Samantha sitting alone in a private room.
Mrs. Carter? Does Mark know you asked to meet me?
He doesn't. Benjamin, I want to make a deal with you.
What kind of deal?
Mark promised to jump to your company and bring the Athena patent with him. Am I right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. And you also know that if there's a dispute over who owns the Athena patent, your company will face massive lawsuits the second you try to use it. This is Athena's code version history. It shows clearly that I wrote 70% of the code, with timestamps going back 3 years. Mark's name first appears in the code base 6 months ago.
What do you want?
I don't want anything. I want to give you a choice. Option 1, you keep working with Mark. After he joins your company, I sue him for intellectual property theft and sue your company for unfair competition. Athena's patent gets frozen. Your competing project grinds to a halt. How much losses can you absorb?
What's option 2?
Option 2, you cut off all contact with Mark, effective immediately, and rescind his offer. In exchange, I won't hold your company liable in court, and I'll license you the non-core modules of Athena after its official release, at 30% below market rate.
Benjamin leaned back in his chair and stared at Samantha for a full 30 seconds.
Do you know what you're doing? You're selling out your husband.
He sold me out long before I sold him out. And he's not my husband, he's my opponent.
I need 3 days to think about it.
You have 24 hours. This time tomorrow, if I haven't received your confirmation, I'm submitting all the evidence directly to the Federal Trace Commission. Oh, and Benjamin, thanks for the tea. As she walked out of the tea house, her phone buzzed. A text from Mark, "Come home early night. I have a surprise for you." She didn't reply. Next, set up a meeting with Chloe. Chloe was harder to pin down than Benjamin. Samantha didn't call her directly. Instead, she had Leah spread a rumor in the patent legal department. There was a supplementary document for the Athena patent, and Samantha had the original manuscript in her possession, complete with her signature and dates. When that rumor reached Chloe's ears, she couldn't stay put. That afternoon, Chloe showed up at Samantha's office door. Samantha, can I talk to you about the Athena patent? Come in. Can I get you something? Coffee? Tea? No thanks, I just want to confirm. You have the original manuscript for Athena? Samantha took a folder from her drawer and opened it. Inside was a stack of papers, each page bearing her signature and a date, the earliest from 3 years ago. You're the head of the patent legal department. You know what these manuscripts mean. That means if I take these to court, Mark's patent will be ruled invalid, because I'm the inventor, not him. Chloe, you're a lawyer. You know the consequences better than I do. What do you want? I want to know what Mark promised you. He promised to marry me after the divorce, transfer 5% of the company shares to my name, and help me open my own law firm. Do you know he also promised Benjamin he'd bring the patent and jump ship? Do you know he also promised Elena a promotion 7 years ago? Chloe, Mark has promised a lot of people a lot of things. Have you checked his track record? How many of those promises did he keep? When he proposed to me, he said he'd love me, protect me, and respect me for the rest of his life. That's the longest promise he ever kept. 15 years. But now you see what he's planning to do to me. You're asking me to betray him? I'm asking you to save yourself. That's my lawyer, Juliet's number. If you're willing to testify in court that Mark instructed you to alt patent inventor information, I can help you get immunity. You won't lose your law license, and you won't face criminal charges. What if I refuse? If you refuse, you'll be a co-defendant right alongside him. Do you know what the penalty is for forging patent documents? He told me last night that he never loved me. He said I was just a convenient ally.
On day 45, Mark started to sense that something was off. His job offer from Benjamin's company had been temporarily put on hold for reasons unknown. Chloe hadn't answered his calls for 3 days. He went to her apartment and knocked. No one answered. Even his assistant, the one who'd helped him alter the patent logs, had suddenly put in her resignation.
Sam, have you noticed things feel weird at the office lately?
Weird how?
Benjamin's people suddenly went silent. Chloe's not answering her phone either.
Chloe? Why are you trying to reach Chloe?
Work stuff. Athena's patent still has some legal issues.
Oh. Well, try again. Maybe she's busy.
Mark looked at her, trying to find any clue on her face.
But Samantha's expression was flawless, warm, attentive, completely unguarded. She even put a piece of steak on his plate. Eat more. You've lost weight lately. Mark took the steak and smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. That night, Mark stayed in his study for a long time. Samantha pretended to be asleep. An hour later, she got up quietly, walked to the study door, and pressed her ear against it.
I don't know why, but she doesn't seem to know anything. Yeah, I checked her computer, her phone, every device. Nothing out of the ordinary. Don't worry. 3 months from now, everything goes according to plan.
She went back to bed, opened her phone, and saw a message from Leah. Mark's assistant did all the change logs before she recrypted and archived them. She replied, "Nice work."
Then she opened another encrypted folder. Inside was every piece of evidence she'd collected over the past 45 days. Photos of Mark's affair, hotel check-in records, patent modification logs, code version history, screenshots of emails exchanged with Benjamin, forged financial statements, 372 documents in total. She organized them by date and type and created a timeline chart. The chart was titled, "The Truth About Mark Carter."
She looked at that name and thought about Mark from 15 years ago. Back then, he was a freshly graduated programmer wearing a wrinkled shirt, so nervous in front of her that he could barely get a full sentence out. When he proposed, he got down on one knee, his hands shaking so badly that the ring fell and rolled 3 times. She laughed and said, "I do." Back then, she thought this awkward, sincere, blushing young man was the one she'd been looking for her whole life. She didn't know where that young man had gone. Maybe he'd never really existed. Maybe that young man was just a role Mark had played for 15 years. Samantha closed the folder and put her phone on the nightstand. Mark came back from the study, lay down next to her, and draped his arm across her waist out of habit. She didn't pull away nor move. Her eyes stayed open in the darkness. Shadows from the streetlight moved slowly across the ceiling. She was thinking, in 45 more days that hand wouldn't be on her waist anymore. Day 60. 30 days until Q4 earnings, 30 days until Mark's planned divorce filing, 29 days until Samantha's counterpunch. Samantha broke routine today and didn't go to the office. She went to her mother's nursing home instead. Vera sat in her wheelchair, facing the garden. She was 70 years old, her memory fading badly. Sometimes she didn't even recognize Samantha. But today she did.
Sam, you've lost weight.
No, Mom, I'm the same weight.
Wrong. You've lost weight, and there's something in your eyes. You're sad. Who hurt you? Is it Mark?
Mom, do you still remember Mark?
I remember. The thief.
What?
The year you had Emily, he came to see me at the nursing home. My memory's bad, but I remember that day. He put your patent documents on the table, and while I was in the bathroom, he took photos. He didn't know I came back early. I saw it through the crack in the door.
You saw that? Why didn't you tell me?
But you just had the baby. You said, Mom, you're wrong. Mark would never do something like that. After that, I stopped bringing it up, because I knew that even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
Samantha remembered that afternoon 7 years ago. She just finished her Bodum contemplation when her mother called and said, "Mark is stealing from you." Mom, you're wrong. Her mother never mentioned it again after that. 7 years. Her mother had waited 7 years for her to come and ask.
Mom, I'm sorry.
Stop crying. You've always been like this. You cry, and then you're fine. Sam, I need you to remember one thing.
What?
You're so much stronger than you think you are. You just don't know it yet.
Samantha spent the whole day at the nursing home. When she left in the evening, she had 27 missed calls on her phone, all from Mark, and one text. "Where are you? Emily's waiting for you to come home and make dinner." She looked at the text and typed a few words, "Be right there." Then she deleted the text and opened another chat, her encrypted channel with Howard. She sent a message, "All evidence is ready. I need to submit it the day before the board announced the new CEO. Give me the date." Howard replied instantly, 30 days. Mark is the only candidate. Samantha put her phone in her bag and started the engine. The sunset had turned the highway gold. She drove, humming along to an old song on the radio. Her mother's blanket sat on the passenger seat, smelling of nursing home detergent. This was the loneliest road she'd ever traveled, but also the clearest. Day 25. 5 days until the counterpunch. Today, Samantha did something she'd never done before. She took Emily to the law firm. Your biggest hurdle is Mark's definitely going to fight for full custody. He won't. Why are you so sure? He's barely spent one-on-one time with Emily longer than 2 hours. He isn't familiar with her allergies, her math class schedule, or the bedtime book she loves most. I'm worried he can't keep up with her daily needs even with custody. But what if he hires a full-time nanny? He won't. A full-time nanny is really pricey. He'd struggle to cover that ongoing expense on his own. I'm not becoming a lawyer. I'm starting a fund. What kind of fund? a women's tech patent protection fund to help female inventors who've had their patents stolen fight their cases in court. Mark's case isn't an isolated incident. I hope to support creators wrong out of their intellectual property so no one has to suffer this unfair loss alone.
Mom, when are we going home? Dad said he's making me spaghetti tonight.
Emily, if someday Mom and Dad don't live together anymore, who would you want to live with?
You. Because Dad can't make spaghetti, he only knows how to make instant noodles.
Day 3. 2 days until the counterpunch. Samantha canceled the mentoring plan. She stopped leaving memos for Mark, stopped managing his schedule, stopped singing his praises in front of the board. Mark noticed the change, but he couldn't quite put his finger on what was different.
Sam, have you been feeling okay lately?
No, I'm fine.
Then why aren't you coming to the office?
I'm working from home. There are some things I need to organize. Hey, the Athena patent, did legal fix it?
What?
You said legal made a mistake and they'd add my name back. It's been 2 months. Still not fixed?
Sam, there's something I need to talk to you about.
Go ahead.
Athena's patent, I discussed it with legal. Their view is that as COO, your role is management, not R&D. So the inventor list only includes the technical team members.
I wrote 70% of the code. I created the entire mathematical framework. I led a team of 12 people through 3 major technical breakthroughs. Are you telling me none of that counts as R&D?
Sam, you know how this industry works. A COO's job is operations, not invention. If you wanted credit, you shouldn't have become COO.
You're right. I shouldn't be COO.
I'm glad you understand.
What I mean is I shouldn't be COO because I'm going to be CEO.
What?
After Howard retires, I'm applying for the CEO position, and I'm going to win. I'm not coming home for dinner tonight. Emily's spaghetti, you make it. Instant noodles are fine.
Benjamin, we need to talk. What? What did you just say?
The final day, at 7 in the morning. She looked at herself in the mirror. This woman was different from the one 2 months ago. 2 months ago, her eyes were clouded. Now they were clear. Today's board agenda starts at 9. First item is CEO candidate nomination. Howard will nominate Mark and call for a board vote. What's the second item? There is no second item. Print 30 copies for me. Put one on every board member's seat before 9.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. At 8:45, Samantha walked into the company building.
Good morning, Mrs. Carter. You look different today.
Thanks. You look great today, too. During the elevator ride, her phone buzzed countless times. Elevator doors slide open. Samantha steps out and heads straight for the boardroom. The boardroom door was half open. She saw Mark sitting on one side of the long table, pale as a ghost.
Samantha, you!
Sit down.
Meeting called to order. First item, nomination of CEO candidate.
Wait. Before the nomination, I have a report I need to share. Samantha picked up the remote and pressed play. On the projection screen at the front of the boardroom, the first document appeared, Athena's patent filing log, complete with records of every change to the inventor field, timestamps, IP addresses, user accounts, every detail crystal clear. This is the first piece of evidence, proving that Mark Carter instructed his assistant to remove my name from the inventor list before the patent was filed. This is the second piece of evidence, testimony from Chloe Davis, head of the patent legal department, proving that Mark instructed her to conceal my contributions in the patent documents and promised her company shares in return. Third piece of evidence, emails between Mark Carter and the CEO of Benjamin's company, proving that he planned to jump ship to a competitor after securing Athena's patent and use the patent as leverage for his new position. Fourth piece of evidence, hotel check-in records for Mark Carter and Chloe Davis at the Marriott over the past 6 months, 17 times in total.
This is a setup! These documents are forged!
Oh, really? Then what about this? This is a screenshot after the plan from Loot Her Stock Options, the Athena patent and jump ship. You wrote it, you saved it, your fingerprints, your password, your device.
Mark Carter, pursuing to Article 12, Section 3 of the company bylaws, I hereby move to suspend you as CTO pending an internal investigation.
I object!
Objection overruled. All in favor, please raise your hands.
I have one final request.
Go ahead.
Please refer all the evidence in this room to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Mark Carton is suspected of corporate fraud, intellectual property theft, and marital fraud. I want him to face criminal charges.
Samantha, have you lost your mind? I'm your husband. I'm Emily's father.
You stole 3 years of my work. You slept with another woman 17 times. You plan to leave me in debt after the divorce, take everything I had, and keep me from even seeing my own daughter. You are not my husband. You are my opponent. And right now, you've lost.
It's over? It's over. Samantha breathed, deeply and slowly. Sunlight streamed through the window at the end of the hallway, falling across her face. She thought this was the first time in 2 months that the sun actually felt warm.
The video of Mark being escorted out of the building by security made tech news headlines that same afternoon. The comments section exploded. Some called Mark a scumbag, others said Samantha was too ruthless, but most people were asking the same question. Who really owns the Athena patent?
Samantha didn't read the comments. She sat on her living room couch, a glass of red wine in her hand, her daughter Emily's toy box at her feet.
Mom, why isn't Dad coming home today?
Dad went on a business trip.
Where?
Somewhere far away.
Samantha finished the wine, stood up, and walked into Mark's study. She'd snuck in here twice before, but today she walked in openly.
All of Mark's things had been sealed by security, but the study still held some personal items he hadn't time to take. An old worn of the computer at their college at graduation, a copy of computer and Brumperies Rindai and cod cover and dem. Samantha picked up the ring. Inside was engraved, Sam forever. She put the ring back where she'd found it. Then she walked to the desk, opened the drawer, and took out the new ring, the one meant for Chloe. She didn't hesitate. She threw the ring in the trash. Her phone lit up. A message from Howard. The board has decided to formally nominate you as the next CEO. The vote is in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Then she opened another window and some mother's nursing home. Mom, I won. Vera replied with just 2 words.
Of course. 1 week later, Chloe voluntarily contacted the federal prosecutor. Accompanied by her lawyer, she submitted a complete testimony and email records. In exchange, she received immunity, but she was fired from the company, and her law license was suspended for 6 months. The day she left the company, she ran into Samantha in the parking lot. The 2 women looked at each other across 3 cars.
Are you happy now?
Samantha closed her car door and walked up to her.
I don't feel anything about you. Whether I'm happy or not, that's not your problem. He never loved me, you know that? He said I was just a convenient ally. So were you.
I know.
You don't hate him?
Samantha looked at Chloe. There was something in this woman's eyes that she recognized, the look of someone who'd been lied to. Hating him won't change anything, but making him pay for it, that can.
Thank you for not letting me go to prison alone. I didn't let you do anything. You made your own choices.
Samantha turned, got into her car, and drove out of the parking lot. In the rearview mirror, Chloe stood alone in the empty parking lot, her figure growing smaller and smaller.
Samantha didn't pity her, and she didn't hate her. She just thought, this woman, like her, was someone Mark had deceived. The difference was that Samantha had chosen to stand back up. Chloe was still on the ground. 2 weeks later, the board voted. Samantha was approved unanimously. She became the company's new CEO. She was the first female CEO in the company's history. After announcing the result, Howard called her into his office.
Do you know why you won?
The evidence?
No. You won because from the very beginning, you knew what you wanted. Mark didn't. He thought he wanted power, money, women, but he didn't know that those things weren't going to make him happy. Mark is a smart guy, but he's an idiot. You know the difference between a smart person and an idiot?
What?
A smart person knows they're stupid. An idiot thinks they're smart.
To idiots.
To smart people.
When she walked out of Howard's office, the doorway was packed with colleagues, Elena, Leah, and dozens of others whose names she couldn't even remember. They applauded. Samantha stood in the middle of the hallway, suddenly unsure how to respond. She was used to standing behind Mark, used to being the supportive wife, used to letting others take credit. But today, she was in the spotlight. She'd finally become someone who was seen.
Thank you.
Her first order of business wasn't reviewing financials or holding strategy meetings. It was taking down every photo of Mark with industry bigwords and replacing them with pictures of her and her daughter.
Mommy got a promotion today.
Does that mean you can buy me a puppy?
Yes. 1 month later, Mark's case went to trial. Samantha didn't go. She sent Juliet and the company's legal team to represent her. But that morning, she drove to the courthouse alone, sat in the last row, wearing sunglasses and a scarf. No one recognized her. When Mark was brought into the courtroom, she barely recognized him. The confident, suit-wearing CTO from a month ago had become a middle-aged man in an orange jetsuit, unshaven, his eyes hollow.
His wrists were cuffed, and he walked like an old man. The prosecutor read the indictment: corporate fraud, intellectual property theft, marital fraud, forgery, 7 felonies in total. Mark's lawyer entered a not guilty plea, but the prosecution printed 1,200 pages of evidence. Samantha's evidence.
The trial lasted 3 hours. Samantha sat in the last row, completely still. She looked at him, at this man. She remembered college. He'd sit in the corner of the library, sunlight streaming through the window, reading an algorithms book while she watched his profile. Back then, she'd thought his profile looked like a painting. Now she thought that painting was a fake. There had never been sunlight, never a profile, never a library. Just a 15-year con.
During a recess, Mark was led out of the courtroom by bailiffs. As he passed the gallery, he suddenly stopped. He saw Samantha. Through her sunglasses, their eyes met for 3 seconds. Mark's lips moved, as if he wanted to say something.
Samantha took off her sunglasses. She looked at him. No hatred, no resentment, nothing. Then she put her sunglasses back on, stood up, and walked out.
Sam.
Behind her came Mark's voice, hoary, broken. Sam. She didn't look back. The verdict came down. Mark was sentenced to 6 years in, with 2 years suspended, fined permanently 5 barred from holding and prolding and in executive opposition to industry. The day Samantha received the judgment, she was at Athia's launch event. She stood on stage, behind her a massive projection screen that read, in the audience sat 1,200 people. Investors, media, developers, and her mother Vera, sitting in the front row, wearing her favorite purple sweater. The name Athena comes from the Greek goddess of wisdom. She's the goddess of both war and peace, the guardian of crafts and justice. She doesn't need anyone to define who she is. 70% of this project's code was written by me. This isn't about taking credit, it's about stating a fact. In many industries, women's contributions are overlooked, erased, stolen. I'm standing here today not because I'm special, but because I refuse to be erased. Athena's core function is to make AI's decision-making process completely transparent. You ask it a question, it tells you why it gave that answer. Its reasoning, data sources, confidence levels, all open for everyone to see. Transparency takes courage. It's a commitment to the truth. It's a way of saying to everyone who tries to operate in the shadows, I see you. When she spoke her last words, everyone in the audience stood up. Samantha stood on stage, the lights blinding, the applause deafening. She suddenly thought about that night 3 months ago. The night she found that plan in Mark's study. Back then, she thought the sky was falling. Now she thought the sky hadn't fallen. What had fallen was the palace she'd built with her own hands on a foundation of lies. And on the ruins, she'd built a new house. A transparent one. After the launch, Samantha went backstage. There were over 200 messages on her phone. She didn't read a single one.
Baby, mommy's done. I'll be home soon. Mom, did you see it?
I saw it. Sam, if your father were still here, he'd be so proud.
Samantha hung up, leaned against the wall of the dressing room, and finally cried. Not sad tears, the kind that come in waves, the kind you hold back for 3 months until they finally find a way out. Elena pushed the door open, saw her crying, and didn't try to comfort her, just handed her a box of tissues and sat down beside her. You know what, Samantha? When I was in the audience today, I thought about the day Mark ran me out of the company 7 years ago. I cried in the parking lot for 2 hours. I thought my life was over. Today, watching you up there, it's not over. Nothing is over. Elena, I'm promoting you to VP. What? Athena needs a COO. You're it.
You're not kidding, are you?
I never joke with my friends. I'm keeping this video forever. You're getting promoted too. Technical director.
28 years old? Technical director?
You've earned it. That night, Samantha got home to find Emily waiting at the door, holding the new puppy they'd just gotten. The puppy was a golden retriever, still nursing, trembling in Emily's arms.
Mom, what's its name?
Athena.
What about Dad? When's Dad coming home?
Dad has to go work in a place far away for a while.
Is he coming back?
No, he's not.
That's okay. I have Mommy.
In her first month as CEO, Samantha did 3 things. First, she established an internal patent transparency committee. Every patent application had to public listing all contributors and was subject to company-wide oversight. Second, she created the Women Inventors Fund, specifically to support R&D projects led by women in the company.
Third, she filed charges against Mark's assistant and 2 other employees who had participated in falsifying patent documents. These 3 things landed her on the cover of Time magazine. The headline read, "The most dangerous woman in Silicon Valley?" Dangerous? You're the safest person I know. Safe? They call me dangerous because I'm messing with their money.
Whose money?
Every man who thinks he can just take what belongs to a woman. In her second month, Samantha received a letter from Mark, sent from prison. The envelope had her name and address written in messy handwriting, like it had been written in dim light. She didn't open it. She fed it straight into the shredder.
Elena watched, but said nothing. In her third month, Benjamin's company formally apologized to Samantha and paid $5 million in settlement. Samantha put every cent of that money into the Women Vendors Fund. The fund's first grant went to a young female engineer who'd been at the company for only 3 months. She'd developed an AI algorithm that could detect breast cancer, but her male supervisor had tried to remove her name from the patent application. Samantha personally presented her with the award. The girl was on stage crying so hard she couldn't speak.
Stop crying. Go write code.